supernatural and spiritual ideas. 3, 2, 1.
We've probably all had the experience of some older person saying, oh, well, when you're on your deathbed, I'm sure you'll believe, you'll want Jesus or something. And no, like I'm happy, I'm content, I'm excited about my beliefs. I'm open to ideas that can fit within a reasonable framework, but no spiritual or supernatural idea has ever fit that standard.
Like, I'm open to... That's why I'm in that weird category of agnostic atheism. Like, a lot of people are like, what's that? How can you be an agnostic and an atheist? That's weird. You're contradicting yourself. But I'm open to it. I don't believe in the Bible God because he's an a-hole. But I believe that in the universe somewhere, even though there's a lot of evidence that there's nothing out there, there could be another dimension. There could be like black holes, like Interstellar, could go somewhere.
Right, yeah.
We don't know.
For me, I'm open to Wiccanism and paganism, It's a fun little thing to do, see what happens.
I think you can be atheist and spiritual too. You can have different beliefs. I've had some crazy Ouija board experiences. I believe in something else. I don't believe in someone else. I believe as above, so below. I think everything is very connected, and I believe that I should behave in a way that I would want acted towards back to me. And I think that's a very spiritual idea, that the energy is recycled and that our actions invite actions.
Praying is a waste of time. 3, 2, 1, go.
Praying is a waste of time.
People argue very often to me that prayer brings a lot of comfort and has meaning to them. Why it has to be that over all of the other options you can do, I don't know. And when considering that in a lot of cases, you're choosing to step back, you're choosing to remove your responsibility from any situation. Yeah, I have issues with that.
Nothing aggravates me more, too, especially in our current political climate, than when a group of people is gunned down and a Republican politician tweets out sending thoughts and prayers. But at the same time, I'm on the somewhat disagree side because I personally think praying will not accomplish anything. Yeah. But I think that what someone has to do to put positive energy out into their life and start their day, and I know that my parents pray for me every night, and it makes me happy that I think they're sending out positive thoughts.
I grew up religious. 3, 2, 1, go.
I was born into Catholicism. I was born into a Catholic family. I think the majority of religion is indoctrination of children. It's just by happenstance of where you're born, what religion you're born into, and who your parents happen to be.
I grew up in a very quintessential Jewish household, but I did go on birthright when I was 18, and I think that was a big factor in my atheism, because while I was on that trip, I asked a lot of questions, which I think you're supposed to do to get out of it, and all I could think about was how if I was a couple miles over, I might be praying to Allah instead of Hashem. I couldn't find a difference in my God versus another God, or justification for why my God was more likely of existing than another God.
For me, growing up Mormon, it was just really oppressive. It was basically your life and your whole identity. And everyone that you even had to just hang out with or just be around was Mormon. You don't have a choice, basically. It's been a struggle for me. I left when I was 18 years old. I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly, because I do not like to believe in a lie. Mormonism is a lie, and it's a fraud.
Yeah, I think we're very close on the same spectrum. But I grew up born and raised as a Jehovah's Witness, believing that Jehovah was God, believing that Armageddon was going to come, and if you weren't a Jehovah's Witness and we didn't convert everyone else to Jehovah's Witnesses, they were going to die. You believe this way: no holidays, no birthdays, no Christmas, no blood transfusions. Thousands of people have died from some of these beliefs for no reason. I know many people have died, and they shouldn't have. This was for no reason. But I'm glad that I'm out, because it's really scary. But super religious, and once I was out, it was like a relief on my shoulders, because part of me when I got this fellowship was like, oh shit, you know, my life is ending. You lose your family, you lose your support system, everyone kicks you out, you're dead. It was nice to believe that we were scammed, and we were lied to, and we deserve better.
Yeah.
The world would be better off without religion. 3, 2, 1, go.
Can I stay here? Can I not? Go ahead. Try that out.
I mean, all anyone has to do is just research, just look, just read, just go out there and see the harms that religion not inherently does, but that it can and therefore does. Any major issue you can take in the U.S., and somehow religion will find a way to be behind that.
The reason why I'm sitting here, despite being hurt by religion in the past, is that I feel like religion brings a lot of good to just like the world in general. Like the pros outweigh the cons in my view. If there are people out there who feel like they need an instruction manual to be a good person, I think they should have it.
The more I've thought about it, I've kind of looked at maybe large institutions, power structures, dogmatic beliefs are maybe more the real problem than the really broad, big, unwieldy definition of religion. The community I run is called Atheists United. Most people in my community would love to destroy religion in the world and think the world will suddenly be better, but I see a bunch of atheists then that are struggling with the same exact problems, that still have the same prejudices, deal with the same stereotypes, and we just changed the label.
I do agree that there is community that's brought by religion, but wherever there is community, there is someone outside of that community. There are people not accepted into that community. There's ostracism. But I think in a world where there is either no religion or multitude of religions, there's always going to be like division in that multitude. And I just don't know if the ostracism and the pain is worth the hope that the community will override that.
Just to push back a little bit, given that we are tribal animals, right? We do get together, you know, if it's not going to be religions, which I'm fine with, then it's maybe your soccer team or your chess club or your sorority. And my biggest concern and why I work in this community is I don't know if you want to raise your children necessarily there, or if you feel like they share your values enough to help you if you're in the hospital, or you know, they're the people you can turn to if you're on your deathbed.
But just to push back a little bit too, I think that there is an issue if you think that the only group of solace that you can find for deep existential or physical problems is your religious group. If they're the only people that you can turn to for help, then that's a problem, because then you feel trapped inside of them. You can't escape that kind of group. And you touched on that a lot.
Absolutely.
Having different groups with different opinions instead of one group that has one fundamental idea and sense of morality. Because you need a group that can check that morality.
Yeah.
I wish I believed in a higher power. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't think it would make my life easier. I would have all the same questions I have and have worse answers.
I think it'd be very comforting to believe in a higher power, to believe that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. I think I'll be a much happier person, but I'm also very proud of what I have accomplished on my own. I know everything I have achieved is through my own effort.
Last year, someone that I used to be very close with died of an opioid addiction, and it like rattled my world, because I'd never really been faced with the idea that like you always know like you're gonna die one day, and people die and it happens, but it was like this like visceral reaction that we are so mortal and we are so powerless, and it really messed me up. And sometimes I still like wake up at night and I'm like, I have to drink a lot of water and relax. I'm so terrified of the idea of not existing anymore. It's not the idea of dying, it's just the idea of nothing.
I would be upset if my children believed in God. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh shit.
I can't be a hypocrite and say I would do the exact same thing I know religion and the religious have done to me and others, hearing all of you, and say, you're disowned, you're no longer welcome in my home. You are no longer a part of my life. I can't do that. And so, therefore, I'm going to change my answer to disagree.
Your own relationship with God is very personal. So who am I to say who you should believe in or what you should believe in? As long as you're not hurting anybody or yourself, whatever's in your heart, just do it as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Would I be upset if my child believed in a God? A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be like, damn, I didn't do a good job. But I agree with a lot of your guys' points. Like, as long as you're not hurting people, as long as you're like pursuing your happiness, be yourself, be happy, whatever that looks like.
I also think my problem with a religious person has never been their religion. It has been like things that they have used that religion to justify
Their
or
interpretation of it.
Yeah, or actions or behaviors in name of their God. You know, so if my child chooses to believe in God and they don't use that to justify harm or malice, and that's fine.
Yeah, and one person I really look up to who is kind of Christ-like is Mr. Rogers. Yeah. He's always been gentle and nice, you know? And he believes in God. Who am I to say, hey, Mr. Rogers, you need to stop?
Contact info?
Yeah, you guys all want to do lunch?
I really enjoyed that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really interesting to hear that some of these atheists are still open to spiritual ideas.
Definitely. A big thank you to Dashlane for supporting this episode and for making our content possible. For those of you who don't know, Dashlane is awesome. It securely generates and stores all of your password information across every device, so you never have to click lost password again. It can store your passport info, your Wi-Fi info, your banking info, and even autofills your credit cards so you never have to go searching through your wallet, which is super great for travel.
Yeah, and speaking of travel, there's also a VPN so you won't be tracked and you can access content while browsing the internet in other countries. So for all you good humans out there, make sure you go to dashlane.com/Jubilee to get Dashlane free on your first device. And make sure you use the code Jubilee when you're ready to upgrade to premium and get 10% off.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.